Okay, so in this video we're going to be looking at the assembly and unpacking of the Pellet Pro 680, a pellet smoker grill from Smoke Daddy Inc. As you can see, it's shipped on a pallet. It's recommended that you have 2 people to carry this around, and it's packed very well. They do a very good job in shipping. They prefer to ship it to a shipping facility, like a hub that has a dock or something like that. But if you pay a little extra, you can have it shipped to your house. Now, this first box that you see me opening here is another accessory that they sell called the Sear Daddy. We'll talk about that in another video. So after you cut away all the plastic wrap and any extraneous cardboard, make sure you cut the banding straps, and then you'll be able to get to the main packing. Again, it is packed very well. It's in order to protect your investment. Again, highly recommended that you have 2 people. This is not light. So when you open up the box, one of the first things that you'll get up is a bag of pellets. They do this so that you can actually cook on it. The small box I took out of there was an upgraded controller that they sent me to work with this grill. And they sent me a second bag of pellets. So you take out all the styrofoam, and instead of lifting it out, I decided to cut the box away. It's a little easier that way, and you don't have to worry about lifting straight up, especially since I was by myself. Alright, so move it out a little bit so we can get to the rest of the packing material. As you can see, a nice hammered finish. And that handle is the front handle. Now, I didn't follow the directions here because you actually do this part later, but I wanted to get it done and get it out of the way so that I could get everything out. So I just unscrewed the nuts and the bolts in the back there, flipped it over, and screwed it back in. Pretty simple. Now, they put the rest of the components inside the grill for shipping, so I'll pull out the legs here. Actually, that's the end handle. The legs are next. And there's the front legs. And here I have the back legs. Wheeled back legs so that you can move your Pellet Pro around. Now, key thing to note, that the 680 is one of their largest grills. They have a couple other grills that have a second rack, and they have stainless steel accents, and it seems like they're a little bit bigger. But they're all based on all the larger grills are based on the same size. There's the shelf. There's the cooking grate right there. I set that down. Here we have the drip pan. This directs all the drippings from your cooking down towards the end, where you'll see a drip bucket that hangs off the end here in a second, because it's underneath the heat diffuser that I'm unwrapping right now, slightly off frame. And then part of that is also the chimney, which is in my hands right there. Nice quality metal. And then there's the drip bucket, and I finish unwrapping the heat diffuser. Now, in order to assemble this, again, I can't stress enough that having 2 people would make this so much easier. Mostly because of the fact that you do have to turn the grill on its side, and it makes it awkward for a single person to get to the nuts and the bolts in order to tighten down on the legs. But it's not impossible. Part of as you can see, I was organizing the nuts and bolts there. Part of that kit is a little spanner wrench and a hex head wrench that you'll need for assembly. So you'll have those. Move the rest of the packing material out of the way. And move other components out so that I can start putting the legs on. Be careful with the cooking grill. It's a ceramic or a porcelain coating. It's very nice, but you don't want to chip it. Okay, so each of the legs has a set of nuts, bolts, and washers that goes with it. Make sure you put them on there and you have the washers in place. No, I'm not on the phone with Smoke Daddy. Though, I'm sure if you did need help, you could call them up during their normal business hours and they would be more than happy to assist you. As you can see, this is why having 2 people would be very helpful, because reaching those back nuts is a little difficult. And then you do the front leg. And the assembly is actually fairly straightforward. It's putting those back legs, the legs furthest from the front side of the grill, on only on the controller side there. And that's because you have the chamber or the auger that takes the pellets to the actual burn pot that gets in the way, and it's not as easy to reach those back bolts. As you can see on this side, I don't have much trouble at all, and I just kind of reach back there and do it. So here comes the second bolt for back there. You also don't want to tighten these down all the way right now, and that's because it makes it much easier to put your shelf in. Yeah, if you have some play in the legs, it makes it easier to put the shelf because you have to put it between the legs of each of these, and then you tighten the bolts down for that. And then you can tighten down the bolts for the legs. So I grab the 4 longer bolts over here, and I bring the shelf over and place it. There's 4 mounting holes, and it's a through hole mounting system, so it's not like you have to work with any complicated hidden mechanisms for it. It's a through hole bolt, and it's a threaded insert on the shelf. So you just tighten it down, but not all the way yet, because you want to make sure that you get all of them in first. Again, as you can see, it's a fairly simple process. Nothing about the directions is confusing that I found or overly complicated. It all comes across fairly straightforward. And once I finish tightening up the bolts here on the shelf, I'll go through and I'll tighten up the bolts on the legs. And there I go. Now, as you may have noticed, there is a tripod over there on the left-hand side, and that's because I had another camera set up to shoot other video, but due to limitations placed in the firmware of a Nikon camera, you can only shoot so much before it decides to stop, and it cut off well before this point, so I didn't have the opportunity to get a different angle on this. But here I go, standing it up. Nice and sturdy, sitting on 4 legs. Now the next part is going to be attaching the handle and the chimney. So you'll see me come back with the end handle here. Grab the bolts for it. This is another through hole bolt type thing. Into a threaded insert, so it's nice and easy. It's a very sturdy handle. Just like the handle that's on the other side with the controller. It's very, very sturdy. You can use it to move the grill around pretty easily. And once that's tightened down, I'll loosen up the bolts above it, which will hold the chimney on. And there's one key thing that you need to know about this chimney, and that is the fact that it does have a gasket, and you can see me arranging it there. Make sure that that is in place, because that helps keep the smoke flowing properly and not leaking around it. Because anyone who's done any length of smoking knows that the more smoke has a route to escape, it can cause discoloration and drips and things like that, and it's not fun. So this gasket helps prevent that and keeps it going up the chimney. So there's that, and then I put on the little peaked cap. Nice little chimney. Move the smoker so that I can get the rest of the packing material out of the way. Putting my knife in my pocket. And here in a moment, you're going to see me grab the camera down. That's the little silver bucket down there. That's the drip bucket, where the drip pan directs all the drippings for it. And here's about where I grabbed the camera. There we go. Showing the heat diffuser going in and the drip pan. Make sure it sits in that groove down there. And there's your grate. And that's done.